Hello YouTubers, have you seen the workout that Hamish Bond has just posted on his Instagram yesterday? No? Well, lucky I'm here to inform the Yam Squad of the rowing world news on YAMSQAUD YAMMERINGS. Today we're talking about Hamish Bond's workout. Yes, here it is. You may be thinking, oh, it's only an hour workout, it's not that big of a deal. But you look at the rate, only rate 20, and then you look at the heart rate, which I think is the most impressive thing about this workout. The split, yes, it is very quick for an hour on the rowing machine, a 142, but people have done 142 in the rowing machine before. But again, doing it for an entire hour at rate 20 with that heart rate, that low of a heart rate, I'll show you again. So if you missed looking at the heart rate, yes, that is an incredibly low heart rate for an hour at a 142 on the rowing machine. A lot of people have been asking, was it a static or was it a dynamic rowing machine? Well, does it really matter because it's at rate 20? Usually the benefits on a dynamic machine come up when the rate increases, but it is at a rate 20 at a 142 heart rate. For the whole thing, not just the beginning, not just the end, not just the middle, but the average of a 142 heart rate. I'm trying to think of ways to put that in perspective. My 142 heart rate split is a lot slower than that, and let's see, I train my steady state splits around a 135 heart rate, and we're talking 155, so 13 splits slower than Hamish Bond did his. So yes, a little bit higher heart rate, but maybe I could go 153s, 152s, 10 splits slower on the same heart rate. It's absolutely insane the numbers that are coming out of the national teams nowadays. Hamish Bond, just an absolute aerobic machine. We've got Simone van Dorp pulling some ridiculous numbers on the shorter stuff, going for very close to world records. Yes, might be on the dynamic, might be on the static, but many national teams throughout the world gearing up for the Olympics this year in Tokyo later on in 2020, and they're recruiting all of the big guns to get them the best result they could possibly get. So this year is obviously a fantastic year to be able to peak the athletes in the team so that they can use that juice, they can use that sauce in the racing at the Olympics. And it's going to be an outrageous year of racing all the way up into the Olympics. Just to see these people that are throwing out these huge numbers race against each other, it's going to be massively, massively impressive. But now for me, I'm going to head out and get a little workout in, and then we're going to talk a little bit about Hamish Bond and why he might be able to do the savage numbers that he's been doing, because it's not really necessarily the same as doing a really quick 2K, although his 2K is very, very quick. I think there are a couple of reasons why he's able to do such outrageous numbers with such low heart rates. But let's get to the gym, get on the erg. Today, like I've been talking about yesterday and the day before, the taper is in full swing. So today's workouts are nice and steady. Just 40 minutes times 2. Nice and easy with a couple of hours in between. So we're going to head to the gym, get nice and steady. No extreme heart rate stuff like Sunday, Monday. And then we'll come back for a chat on why I think Hamish Bond is able to do what he does. Oh yeah. After a lovely workout on the rowing machine. Like I said previously, it was a steady erg, and we're in the taper time, so it is time to really try and gain back that energy. But that's not really an issue for Hamish Bond. He doesn't really need to go steady at the moment, as he will be peaking for something this weekend to race at the Paris Indoor World Rowing Championships. Yesterday he posted his hour workout at 1:42 at a 1:42 heart rate, which is, like I've already said, absolutely insane. And we'll go over why I think he's been able to do such crazy numbers. I think there are a couple of reasons that have enabled him to be able to do such numbers, and I would love to talk to him. Hamish Bond, if you end up seeing this video, I'd love to have a little chat with you, whether it's about this workout that you've done or about just your workouts in general. But here's why I think you, or Hamish Bond, has been able to do such heinous numbers. Well, number one, I think the biggest reason is because he's been in the rowing scene, he's been doing rowing training for a long time. He won his first World Championships in 2007 in Munich in the Coxless 4. So if we only consider his international career, he's been training at an international level for roughly 13 years, which is a big amount of time, but probably not a huge amount of time compared to some athletes who are a little bit older. Hamish Bond is actually 33 years of age, so he won his first World Champs when he was 20. So let's say he started when I started my rowing career when I was 18, so there's an extra 2 years for him, and he's been training for approximately 15 years. So that's almost double the amount of training I've had in rowing compared to Hamish Bond, so that in itself is absolutely huge. In an endurance sport like rowing, the amount of time you spent training is massive, and that just can build. If you can be consistent year over year, it can make your fitness levels climb up and up. And also in an endurance sport, your peak generally comes around the early 30s, which Hamish Bond is now in, and therefore he has the biological benefit of hitting his endurance peak, and also the benefit of just being at an elite level for so long and training at an elite level for so long to make him just an aerobic beast and able to produce the numbers that he's able to produce. But I would like to ask Mr. Bond how difficult that workout actually was for him. 1:42 heart rate isn't too high, but my 1:42 heart rate could be easier than your 1:42 heart rate, or vice versa. Your 1:42 heart rate could be easier than my 1:42 heart rate. So it would be interesting to see how difficult he found that hour at 1:42 split at the 1:42 heart rate. It won't be obviously anywhere near flat out, but maybe it was a little bit harder than steady, or at least I would hope that it was a little bit more than steady, because that split at, if it was easy, is just absolutely heinous. Another reason why I think he's been able to do such insane numbers this year, obviously he's been doing insane numbers for a long time, but he's spent the last couple of seasons anyway, after Rio, training for cycling. We all know that cycling training is very endurance focused, and a lot of it, instead of sitting on the machine for 20k or out on the water for 20 or 30k, you might sit on a bike for an entire day. You might go up a mountain for 6, 7, 8 hours a day, and then when you get used to doing 6, 7, 8 hour workouts, doing an hour must feel like a walk in the park. And I think that's a little bit of a mental impact perhaps, but obviously I'm only assuming this because I haven't spoke to Mr. Bond. If you're out there cycling and ready to cycle for 6 hours and you come onto the rowing machine for 1 hour, it's just that much easier in the mind to say, well, I'm not going to sit on the bike for 6 hours here, I'm only sitting on the machine for an hour, and it's going to be really easy to do, especially when the heart rate's that low and you're not really pushing the limits. And also, another thing that I think could be helping Mr. Bond in his just silly, outrageous, so impressive numbers is kind of similar to what I've been experiencing as I've moved and made some drastic changes. He made some drastic changes trying to pick up cycling and doing really, really impressive numbers on the bike and amazing results throughout the cycling season. But then switching back to rowing is going to make it fresher again. It's going to open up, make you a little bit mentally more stimulating to come back and have another change. So maybe that's helping him too. And obviously, again, I'm making some slight assumptions, but coming back or going away and coming back is a little bit of that mental refresh, and coming back again with slightly different trainings and coming back with just different modalities of training makes those different modalities of training just that little bit more engaging, that little bit more easy to just get on with. And that kind of brings me to my last point. There's a lot of program research on Hamish Bond and Eric Murray, and a lot of the research points to very individualized training. So I spoke about the training and the amount of years that he's done, that Hamish Bond has done to get him where he is now. So roughly 13 years on the national team of elite level training. But all the studies, all the research on Hamish Bond and Eric Murray and the pair suggests very individualized training. So not only does he have elite level training under his belt for a long period of time, but he's consistently been working on his weaknesses. He's consistently been saying, oh, not necessarily as accurate as this because I don't know the full story, but consistently being, okay, if, for example, his weakness was his aerobic capacity, well, now it's definitely not, but perhaps over the last 10 years, aerobic capacity, he's just been working on it, and the aerobic capacity is known for taking a long time to develop, and that's one of the reasons why endurance sports approach their peak, mid-30s. If he's able to work on something that is his weakness for so long and have a very individualized program that makes him progress consistently, then that's just going to help him even further. And from the scores that he's produced, from the results that him and Eric Murray have had in the pair over the past decade, absolutely insane. And the score yesterday that he's posted, that I'm talking about today, is a testament to his fitness, to the training program that he's been doing, and even just himself as an athlete. It's just absolutely outrageous. But I think that will be it for today's episode, Yam Squad. A little bit of the Yam Squad Yammerings. Yam's over there having a little nap, having a little stretch, so he's not going to come out and say hello today. But again, Hamish Bond, if you're watching, I would love to have a little chat with you, even if it's just a couple of messages, just having a couple of questions, maybe even having a little chat on the video itself. Yam Squad, let me know in the comments below if you would like anything discussed on Yam Squad Yammerings. If you see anything in the rowing sphere that you think that needs to be discussed, that needs to be shared with the Yam Squad, with the world. But now we will finish the episode today with the usual. As always, remember to subscribe if you haven't already, hit that like button, and I will see you tomorrow as we slowly progress into lower volume, lower intensity, and preparing for Paris this weekend for the World Indoor Rowing Championships. Oh yeah!